Imagine this. You wake up one morning and something feels different. As you walk down the street, people pass by, and suddenly, you see the truth behind their words. The polite smile from your neighbor, hiding envy, your best friend's "I'm fine," a storm of sadness, your boss's "great job." He's secretly thinking of replacing you. In a single day, the entire illusion of politeness, pretense, and performance collapses. You can't unsee it. Every mask is gone. At first, it feels powerful, like unlocking a secret level of humanity. But soon, it feels like drowning. Because behind every face is a truth you never asked to know. So let's ask the question, what if you could see the truth about everyone? Would the world become wiser, or would it fall apart completely? Chapter 1. How the human brain lies to protect you. Before we imagine a world without lies, we need to face an uncomfortable fact. Your brain is lying to you right now. Seriously. It lies every single day, not because it's evil, but because it's efficient. Let's start with evolution. Thousands of years ago, truth wasn't the key to survival. Cooperation was. And sometimes, that meant pretending. Pretending you weren't afraid. Pretending you were strong. Pretending you liked the leader's hunting strategy even though it sucked. Psychologists call this social lying. It's the invisible glue that holds groups together. Today, we still do it. From fake smiles at work to "I love your haircut" when you don't. These small lies keep society running smoothly. But here's where it gets interesting. Your brain doesn't just lie to others, it lies to you. According to research from Yale and Princeton, your mind edits memories, exaggerates self-image, and filters perception, all to protect your fragile sense of identity. You think you're logical? Nope, you're a storytelling machine. Every thought, every belief is part fact, part fiction. This is called cognitive dissonance, the brain's way of staying comfortable when truth feels threatening. You tell yourself, "I'm a good person," even when you do something selfish. Or, "They deserved it," when you hurt someone. We rewrite our inner story to make life feel coherent. It's not evil, it's survival. The brain hides the full truth to protect your sanity. Now imagine suddenly seeing everything. Every hidden thought, every lie, every suppressed emotion, not just in others, but in yourself. Would you still recognize who you are? Our species evolved not to handle pure truth, but manageable illusion, because the truth, in its raw form, is chaos. Up next in Chapter 2, we step into a world where no one can lie. Not politicians, not partners, not even your dog. What would that world look like? Utopia or total meltdown? Chapter 2, a world without lies. All right, let's flip the switch. You wake up in a world where lying is impossible. Every human now broadcasts the truth. Emotions, thoughts, desires, like a 24/7 live stream from the brain. At first, it's chaos. Politicians quit within minutes. Dating apps vanish overnight. And customer service finally admits, "We don't care about your feedback." Society, built on filters, begins to crack. See, honesty sounds noble, but civilization actually runs on controlled dishonesty. Diplomacy, marketing, parenting, even friendships, they all rely on a little sugarcoating. Without it, life becomes brutally literal. Imagine your boss saying, "I only hired you because you were cheaper," or your friend admitting, "I didn't invite you because you eat all the snacks." Would you survive that world? Would anyone? Anthropologists have found that lying evolved alongside language. It's not a bug, it's a feature. Chimpanzees, dolphins, even crows use deception to gain advantage or protect others. Lying isn't just human, it's natural. Now, picture a global truth reset. No secrets, no hidden agendas. On day 1, divorce rates explode. On day 2, half of advertising disappears. By day 3, world leaders are replaced by toddlers because they're the only ones who've been honest all along. But after the panic, something interesting happens. Humanity starts rebuilding, this time without masks. Businesses become transparent. Relationships become authentic. You don't need trust anymore. You have truth. The question is, and would people find peace in truth? Or would they start lying to themselves again, just to survive? Chapter 3. The Truth About Love and Relationships. Let's talk about love, the most beautiful illusion ever invented. Because let's be honest, love runs on fantasy. When you fall for someone, you don't fall for who they are. You fall for your idea of them, the best version your imagination can paint. Science agrees. Studies from the University of California show that during early love, your brain shuts down the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for judgment and skepticism. Translation: love literally turns off your truth detector. Now, imagine a relationship where that switch is gone. No romantic filters, no gentle lies, only raw, unfiltered truth. You say, "You look amazing," and your brain blurts, "Except for that one eyebrow hair sticking out." Your partner asks, "Do you still find me attractive?" And your mouth, possessed by truth, replies, "Statistically speaking, attraction decreases after year 3. It's honesty turned apocalypse. But on a deeper level, it forces growth. Relationships wouldn't survive on charm or convenience anymore, but on genuine compatibility. No more fake promises, no silent resentment, every insecurity, every doubt, every flicker of fear out in the open. Would that destroy love? Maybe not. It might evolve it, because real love isn't about constant truth. It's about handling truth together. The truth without empathy is cruelty. But empathy without truth is illusion. In a world where everyone sees everything, love would shift from, "How do you make me feel?" to, "Can I face myself through you?" No more pretending, no more masks, just two humans standing naked, not physically, but emotionally. And that might be the purest connection we've ever known. Up next in Chapter 4, politics collapses, religion transforms, and power loses its grip, because truth is no longer negotiable. What happens when the world's greatest liars lose their superpower? Chapter 4. The Collapse of Power. Let's take a deep breath, because now things get political. Imagine this new world where truth can't hide. Every lie, every spin, every campaign slogan, instantly exposed. The press doesn't need sources anymore. Politicians can't fake empathy. And alternative facts? Extinct. Parliaments, senates, congresses, silent. Not because they're debating, but because no one dares to speak. Suddenly, truth is the only currency, and most leaders are bankrupt. Here's a shocking twist. Power itself relies on illusion. From ancient Rome to Silicon Valley, those in charge shape perception, not reality. They tell stories. They manage narratives. They make you believe they're in control, but remove that illusion, and power evaporates. Think about it. A dictator survives through fear, not honesty. A brand thrives on image, not authenticity. And religion? It depends on faith, which is by definition, belief without proof. Now picture a world where every preacher, president, or CEO speaks only verifiable truth. No manipulation, no divine marketing. Religion wouldn't end, but it would transform. It would shift from believe this to understand this, from dogma to direct experience. People would stop worshiping stories and start exploring consciousness itself. Politics, stripped of deception, would collapse. And maybe that's good, because out of the ashes of manipulation could rise something humanity's never truly had. Transparent leadership. Leaders who can't pretend, who can't hide greed, ego, or corruption. Imagine voting for someone and instantly feeling their true intentions. Would we still need elections, or would truth itself become democracy? Of course, chaos would come first, but maybe it's necessary. Maybe truth is destruction before rebirth, because sometimes, to build a better world, the masks have to burn. Chapter 5. The Psychology of Truth. Why we lie anyway. So if lying causes so much trouble, why do we still do it? Well, according to psychologists, humans lie between 10 and 200 times a day, depending on your personality and, well, how often you use social media. But here's the twist. Most of these lies aren't evil, they're protective. They maintain relationships, preserve peace, and avoid unnecessary pain. You tell your friend you like their new haircut because honesty would start World War III. You tell your mom you're fine because she'd panic otherwise. You say just 5 minutes when you're still in your towel. We lie to smooth the edges of reality. According to a Harvard study, the brain actually rewards you for lying with a shot of dopamine. Deception activates the same neural circuits as pleasure and anticipation. It feels good, like winning a small game against reality. But chronic lying rewires the brain. The more you do it, the easier it becomes, until truth starts feeling uncomfortable. That's why compulsive liars can pass polygraphs. Their brains don't even register guilt anymore. So imagine if that wiring was reversed, if the truth became the dopamine trigger. People would literally feel good for being honest. The world might shift from fake it till you make it to face it till you fix it. But total honesty also has a price, because when you can't hide anything, shame, regret, jealousy, you become unbearably exposed, and vulnerability can either connect us or destroy us. That's the paradox of truth. It can heal, but it can also hurt. That's why most people live somewhere in between, telling just enough truth to stay human, but not so much that it burns. So maybe lying isn't the opposite of truth. Maybe it's part of the dance, the balance between illusion and awareness that keeps us sane. Next up in Chapter 6, we'll enter the personal side of this new world. What happens when you can't hide from your own truth anymore? Your fears, your regrets, your self-image, all visible. Would that lead to enlightenment or total emotional meltdown? Chapter 6, when you can't hide from yourself. Okay, so far, we've imagined what happens when everyone else's lies vanish. But let's turn the spotlight where it hurts most. You. What if, along with seeing the truth about others, you could suddenly see your own? Every hidden motive, every self-deception, every time you said, "I don't care," but you did. The truth about ourselves is the one we run from the hardest. Psychologists call this ego defense. It's the brain's way of protecting us from information that might shatter our identity. We build masks not because we're fake, but because we're fragile. You might think, "I'd love to know the real me." Sure, until you realize that the real you isn't one person. It's a crowd, one part brave, one part terrified, one part craving approval, and one part pretending not to. Self-honesty sounds noble, but it's brutal. Imagine waking up and instantly knowing why you sabotage relationships, why you procrastinate, why you secretly envy people you claim to dislike. It's like your subconscious turned into a talk show host with no filter. But here's the twist. Facing that kind of truth can also set you free. In therapy, there's a concept called radical acceptance. It means you stop fighting who you are and start observing it, not judging, not fixing, just seeing. Because once you stop lying to yourself, your energy shifts from pretending to growing. Think of it like emotional decluttering. Every false story you drop gives you more space to breathe. Now imagine a society where everyone does this. No projection, no blame, no fake perfection online. Just people confronting their truth head on. Would that make us more compassionate or completely numb? Probably both. Because truth without empathy is cruelty, and empathy without truth is illusion. So maybe the goal isn't total honesty. It's conscious honesty. Telling the truth, but with kindness. Seeing yourself clearly, but with grace. Because in the end, the hardest person to forgive is the one you finally see in the mirror. Chapter 7, the world rebuilt by truth. So, what happens after the shock? After the masks fall, the systems collapse, and everyone faces their raw, unfiltered selves? We adapt, because that's what humans do. At first, the world would feel unbearable, too bright, too honest, too loud. But over time, truth would stop feeling like an attack and start feeling like oxygen. Relationships would evolve from performances to partnerships. Imagine falling in love not with how someone presents themselves, but with who they actually are. Scars, insecurities, everything. No games, no ghosting, just connection. Workplaces would shift from fear to trust. Leaders would lead because of wisdom, not charisma. Schools would teach emotional literacy, not just algebra. And maybe, for the first time in history, humanity would stop pretending to be civilized and actually become it. Because when you see the truth in others, and they see it in you, judgment fades. You realize everyone's just doing their best with the emotional tools they have. Ironically, that's when compassion blooms. Not when we hide behind lies, but when we drop them together. The poet Rumi once said, "The wound is where the light enters you." Maybe that's the final message of this thought experiment. If we could truly see the truth about everyone, we'd stop worshiping perfection and start appreciating authenticity. We'd stop chasing approval and start choosing presence. We'd stop lying for comfort and start telling the truth for connection. In a world like that, truth wouldn't be a curse. It would be a mirror, not to judge us, but to remind us who we are beneath all the noise. So maybe the real superpower isn't seeing everyone's truth. It's being brave enough to live your own. The final thought. Every human carries two lives inside them, the one they show and the wasana, the one they hide. But the moment those two finally meet, something extraordinary happens. You stop performing and start being. So, what if you could see the truth about everyone? Maybe you'd find out that deep down, we're all just trying to tell the same story, the one that starts with fear and ends with understanding.